How to enjoy easy cooking with kids and teens. So, I'm Jules Clancy, your favorite Australian food loving food scientist. And here in Joyful Eating, normally I talk about helping food lovers lose weight with ease and joy. But this week we're talking about easy cooking for kids and teens, which actually can help us lose weight with ease and joy. So, let's dive in. So, our plan for today is I'll share the story behind this episode. And then we're going to look at all the reasons why getting your kids and teens cooking is beneficial. Then we're going to look at the 4 fun ways to actually enjoy easy cooking with your kids and teens. And then we'll wrap it up with a key takeaway. And if you want to stay on for the end, I'll have some personal stuff to share. So basically, the story here, I have a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, both boys. And about 18 months ago, I started a project to get both of them involved in cooking because I was like, it's time. And I knew it would be beneficial for them. And of course, because I teach cooking, it's something that's really important to me, and food's a huge part of our family culture. But I was even blown away by how much fun and how beneficial it's actually been for the whole family to get the boys involved in making dinner. And not just for them, for me as well. The other reason I wanted to share this is so in Finbar, my youngest, at his school, they have this kitchen garden program where they each Friday they spend an hour in the garden growing veggies, but then they go into the kitchen and cook. And I went last because they get parents to come and help out. So I was helping out in the kitchen, of course. And we were making rhubarb muffins that because I'd grown rhubarb in the garden. And Finbar, he's normally really picky and really fussy. And he was eating raw rhubarb that he'd never had before. And I was, oh my goodness, huge. So things can change. Okay, so yeah, this is what happens when we get kids cooking in the kitchen. So let's look at why. So there's actually quite a few reasons. First of all, we'll look at the health benefits. For adults, when we're cooking at home, there was a John Hopkins study done in the US and found that people who cooked at home 6 or 7 times a week had consumed fewer calories, less fat, and significantly less sugar than those who cooked only once a week or less. So, and that held true whether the people were trying to lose weight or not. They actually naturally ate less calories. So that's interesting. And then there was a UK study that had over 11,000 people in it, and it found that eating home cooked meals more than 5 times a week was associated with a 28% lower BMI and a 24% lower risk of excess body fat. So huge link there between cooking a lot at home and your weight. So that's in adults. And then in children, there's research showing that those who are regularly involved in meal prep on average ate one extra serving of fruit and vegetables per day compared to those who didn't actually get involved in cooking. So it helps your kids eat more veggies, and also their confidence in making healthy food choices when those that are involved in cooking are more confident than those who aren't involved at all. So yeah, there's a huge thing. And also on the picky eater front, there's research showing that when kids are involved in food prep, then they're way more likely to at least try things than, and particularly if they're already quite fussy to begin with. So huge health benefits there on weight, and we could go into the other knock-on benefits of that, but just we know that there's a link between home cooking and being at a healthy weight. And we also know that there's a link between being at a healthy weight and all the other health consequences of that as well. So that's the health one is huge. But then one thing that I actually didn't factor in was the improvements to my workload. So that mental energy that goes into deciding what to cook every night, now that the boys, they each have one night a week where they choose what we're having for dinner, it just really lightened my load. Like it seems like a small thing, but it actually feels, I feel a lot freer and a lot more spacious. And also because they're involved in cooking now, I'm mandating that they get more involved in the cleaning up process as well. So it's helping on that front too. Then in terms of finances, why home cooking is so good is there was a study that looked, and I think this was in the US, and that on average, a home cooked meal costs around $4.31, whereas on average, eating out costs $20.37 per serve. So it's nearly 5 times the price. And you know yourself that when you cook from home, sure, you can buy truffles and spend a lot of money on ingredients if you want to, but overall, just for every day-to-day cooking, it is more economical. And then another thing that I was expecting, but you may not have considered this is just the connection that comes from spending time in the kitchen with someone. Particularly, I can see this being more and more beneficial with my teen. When you're in the kitchen, you're pottering around, chopping and doing things, or maybe not even chopping, but you're just prepping together, there is this bond. And it's different to the bond that you get when you're eating a meal together. Just that shared project is really so beneficial. So that's it. So we're healthier, we're wealthier, and we're closer. We have better relationships when we're cooking together. So how do we get teens and kids in the kitchen, getting them cooking? So there's 4 easy, fun ways to do it. So the first is just deciding to let them choose one night a week where they're in charge of cooking. And depending on how old they are, I'm actually wishing I started this when the boys were a lot smaller. Obviously, if you've got a toddler, then the actual amount that they're going to be helping, but you can have a conversation with them about what they could be choosing, what they're going to have. And with this, I think the key is to make it an invitation. It's, would you like to do this? And I think most kids love having control. If you say, whatever you choose, we can have that. My boys were really excited when I first suggested it. But if you do have a child that's not, doesn't want to do it, don't push it. Give them 12 months and try again. And then the other thing with letting them choose one night a week, I actually think, so for me, deciding when you're going to get them to make their choice is really helpful. So we have a habit on Sundays, we go and take my dad to church. And so my habit is, as I'm driving to church, then I ask the boys, what do you want to cook this week? And then I know what they're going to cook and I can plan ingredients around that, fit it into my shopping. So actually deciding when you're going to ask them, that's really beneficial as well. Okay, so that's our first thing, is letting them choose. And then I think the second idea for making it really easy and fun is narrow it down and just have one source of new ideas or one source of recipes. Because if it's open to the whole internet or any meal ever, that can be really overwhelming and can take a lot of time. So if you're having to Google stuff. So I want to keep it simple. And if you want a good source of easy dinner ideas with maybe 5 ingredients that has variations for fussy eaters, then definitely get on my email newsletter, because I send out each Friday 5 ingredient dinner ideas and a sweet treat. So that's definitely a great resource. I would highly recommend if you're looking for a source of easy dinner ideas. Number 3 on fun and easy ways is actually either you or the whole family learning how to cook without recipes. And this could be a whole podcast episode on its own. But when we can cook without recipes, it just makes cooking so much easier, because you may not have decided what you're going to have in advance or what the kid's going to cook in advance and being organized. But what you can do is, if it's their night, when you can cook without recipes, you can just go, oh, okay, we've got this and this. What would you like to do with it? Or how you can guide them on it. But having that ability to cook without recipes is so helpful, because that's just one less hurdle to getting into the kitchen, because you don't have to have it all mapped out in your head and buy all the ingredients. You don't have to run to the store and you don't have to find the perfect recipe. You can just plug and play. And it's particularly helpful, that skill of cooking without recipes is particularly helpful for when you're cooking for kids, because oftentimes there will be fussy eaters and everyone has different things, and I don't like this and I don't like that. And so by being able to cook without recipes, that gives you the freedom to be able to tweak and adjust the sides, or adjust the protein, or adjust the spice level so that it suits everyone. So it really gives you that flexibility and makes life so much easier. And if you're looking for a great way to learn how to cook without recipes, if you're, Jules, I don't know how to do that, then stay on till the end as well. Okay, and then we've got number 4 in terms of our fun, easy ways to get kids and teens in the kitchen is, and this is also speaking to the ease part, is being okay with cooking something different for yourself. I think one resistance that parents can have is, if I get the kids to choose, they're just going to be choosing pasta every single night. And I don't want to be eating pasta every single night. So what I do is, some nights when they're cooking, oftentimes it'll be, I'll have the same sauce. So if we make a bolognese, I would still have the bolognese, but rather than me having it with spaghetti, I'm going to have it with I really love it with tofu actually, which sounds weird, but it's like gnocchi flavor. So we'd make the one sauce, but we'd have 2 different, and that can be very easy. And then there are times when whatever the boys are having. They're doing tuna tacos. I don't really want tuna tacos, so I'll actually make an omelette or something completely separate for me. And I'm totally cool with that. I'd rather put in that effort. It's not a lot of effort, 5 minutes to whip up an omelette, but then they've got a meal they're happy with. I've got a meal I'm happy with. And I think there can be a bit of a thing in our culture of, oh, I shouldn't have to cook multiple meals, but I think it's worth the effort so that everyone gets what they want nutritionally and flavor wise. So just to summarize, our 4 easy ways were: let them choose, give them the invitation to choose one night a week where they're in charge of what you're having, choose an easy source of ideas. And number 3 was learning to cook without recipes, because it gives you that flexibility and that confidence. And then number 4 is being okay, being no big deal if you do end up needing to make a few different things to keep everyone happy. Okay, so putting this into practice, cooking with kids and teens is so worth. Yes, it's a little bit of effort than just doing it yourself, but it impacts your health and theirs. It impacts the finance side of things. It actually does reduce your workload, particularly the mental load. And you also get that bonus of having more connection with them. And they're only small for such a brief time as I'm learning. So how to put this into practice, just start by inviting them, having that conversation. Would you like to choose what we have for dinner and help me cook one night a week? And just treat it as an experiment and see how it goes. And if you enjoy it, great, you keep doing it. If you don't, you can go, Jules, you're crazy, and you can stop. And if you'd like some help putting this into practice, so if you have kids in your life, like nieces, nephews, grandchildren, biological children, adopted children, and you'd love to really go deep on learning how to cook without recipes and have fun in the kitchen together, then I'd love you to come and join us in Joyful Cooking for Kids and Teens. So it's a 6-week online program where you actually get to use screen time for good. So for more details, check out the link in the show notes. That'll tell you all about it. Okay, so before we wrap up, my best bite I had, so it was Fergal's birthday on the weekend, and my Irishman has been roasting parsnips. It's winter here, it's a parsnip season, and when I'm cooking, I like to do things quickly, so I crank up the oven too high and then I burn things. And no, I don't always burn things, but he likes to go low and slow. So he's been cooking roasting parsnips at 180C, which is 350F, in ghee, clarified butter, and they are the business. Yeah, so much better than potatoes, like so much more flavor, and you get that crispy texture. They are really great. We've had them with roast chicken. We had them the other night with pasta. Yeah, they're really good. And then what I'm excited about is school holidays are around the corner, and that means we're going to be starting the Joyful Cooking for Kids group. So I'm really excited about Finbar's actually going to come into my kitchen, which is my studio here, and we're going to be cooking together. So we'd really love you to come and join us. Have a fantastic week, and I'll catch you next week.